Hello, this is your instructor, Alexandria LeFay, and today I'm going to go over how to complete a writing project contract. First, let's see where we would go to find the contract. You go to the content page, you go to course documents, which you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen. Under course documents, there is an assignment description and samples. When you click that, it will show you the different types of things you'll have to complete for this class, including the course reflective essay and the writing projects. Under writing projects, you'll notice that there is a blank contract to be filled out, a sample, a reflective assignment that allows you to think about what you learned by completing the project, and then modes of writing. Under modes of writing, it gives you examples of some of the most common modes of writing which you may be using in designing your writing projects. I'd like to point out that you will design 3 separate writing projects, which will require you to complete 3 separate and different writing contracts. Included under the modes of writing is a guide to analyzing visuals, because if, for instance, you evaluated a television show, a print ad, or a movie, you would need to analyze the visuals included. To do that, here's a guide to walk you through the process. Now, let's go to a sample writing project contract. Here's one by a non-existent student named Horace Thiels. Notice that he put down which writing project this was for. The first one. He chose the topic of Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit. Then he chose a mode. Mode just means the type of writing you're doing for that assignment. For this particular assignment, he's going to do a movie review, which is a form of evaluation. Notice that there was a chapter on evaluation listed under modes of writing in the content page, and you will be required to read that if you do an evaluation writing project. Next, you need to choose your target audience. Notice how specific this is. It's not moviegoers, it's college-aged Christian moviegoers and readers of the Papyrus, because this particular student wants to submit their movie review to the Papyrus, our student newspaper, which you can do through this submit an article page or link on the Papyrus webpage. Next, this student offers an explanation of why they chose this specific audience. You need to know why you're speaking to these specific people. And when you write that project, you need to target your discussion to that specific audience and that audience's interests and concerns. Next, you need to talk about why you're doing this assignment. What do you hope to learn, prove, or solve? And you may be learning it for yourself. You may be teaching it to your readers. Either way, you need to critically consider what you're doing and why. Next, it asks you to determine which course and/or college objectives you will address by completing this assignment. You can attach a sheet or explain your analysis right here. What are the course and college objectives? Well, if you pop over to the syllabus, which can also be found on the content page under course documents, you'll discover that right after the description of the course on your syllabus, there is an objectives section. There's 7 of them for the course, and let's take an example of number 2 to help students become closer, more critical readers and thinkers, recognizing central assertion by other people, persons, and their secondary assertions and the support which they offer to strengthen those assertions. You would become a closer, more critical reader by evaluating a movie. You will also recognize the central assertions of the people who made the movie by the way the story and theme of that story have been constructed. You may also look at central and secondary assertions in the academic sources you use to support your review of the film. Next, you'll notice that there college objectives listed on the syllabus, and one of those objectives is to apply Christian values. If you're going to write a movie review for Christian college students, then you're going to have to apply Christian values. So that's how you answer question 5 on the writing project contract. Next, you have to decide your documentation style. This is the process by which you document the secondary sources or primary sources you use. For this class, you need to demonstrate your ability to use MLA and APA documentation styles. For more information on how to do that, you can follow this link to the online writing lab hosted by the English department of Purdue University. To give you a little peek of what that looks like, here it is. Notice that they have a link up at top that says Research and Citation. It gives you ideas on how to conduct research, use research, and use the two documentation styles, APA and MLA. Next, we'll go back to our writing project. And the next question is, what are your research plans? If you don't have any, well then, you better make them. Because you need to consider the number of sources, the types of sources, and where you'll acquire the material. You'll need to name at least one source for your contract. You could only use one internet source per project. Each paper must use a minimum of 3 academic sources. Notice that I said academic sources, which means that you cannot use popular sources without permission from me. And the sources you use need to be directly relevant to the topic you've chosen. The last question is, what reading assignments will you complete to learn more about how to write this paper? You need to read and respond to one reading I assign. You'll find the chapters and modes of writing on the content page very helpful. Or I can recommend a reading assignment if none of those fit. You'll also need to choose one reading assignment that fits your topic specifically. For instance, under writing modes, you'll find an essay called, or a chapter from Reading Critically and Writing Well. This chapter is Chapter 6, Evaluation. A movie review is a form of evaluation. Then the specific student also chose to read 7 tips of writing a film review because of the types of evaluation possible. This student wrote a film review. So they did a short reading on how to specifically write that mode of evaluation. If you have any further questions about how to do this assignment, you can easily go to the question and answer section of our class, which can be found under Communication, Discussions, and scrolling, Q&A. When you post a question to this discussion thread, it goes to my inbox immediately. If you are sending me a message during the day, I will respond to you as soon as I can. But keep in mind, I am also teaching a face-to-face class in a graduate program in Virginia. I'm also a mom of 5. Oh, and I tend to write every now and again. So if I don't answer you right away, don't panic. You can also go on to the top of the page and go to go to the class list and send an email to the other students in the class who probably will be able to answer your question, especially if you email more than one of them. Thank you very much, and that concludes my discussion of the writing project contract. If you have any questions, you know where to find me.